for it?
I am rolling.
Cool. Hey everyone, welcome back to the BigBearBikes channel. We've got a really exciting video for you all today. A bike that we've been waiting for in store for a few months now, secretly in the works, and it's finally here. So Santa Cruz's all new full powered e-bike, the Vala. This is a brand new bike for Santa Cruz. It's a new frame, they've gone with a new motor, and if you're familiar with Santa Cruz's e-bike lineup, you might be aware of the Heckler. So this bike is going to replace the Heckler. The Heckler SL, which is the lightweight e-bike, that continues on. But this, the Vala, is the new standout e-bike from Santa Cruz. So let's dive into probably the big talking point for the bike. Is this new frame layout. So historically, for the past 20 years, Santa Cruz have gone for their VPP frame design, where the shock is sort of held low, a horizontal outlook. So virtual pivot point is what VPP stands for, and that's how Santa Cruz really dial in how their bikes feel, how they handle, how they ride, how they corner, and they are well known for that. So some die-hard Santa Cruz fans may look at this and think, it's not going to stack up to what I'm used to. That's not the case. I was lucky enough to ride this bike on Monday, get a super early demo on it, and I can testify it rides really good. I must admit I haven't spent a load of time on VPP, but from what Santa Cruz have said with the development on this 4-bar linkage is they've tried to get this bike to ride as much like as a VPP bike as they can. The reason why they've had to do this design is because they want to use a Bosch motor. It didn't allow that VPP frame to sit with a Bosch. So they've had to work around that, work into a new frame, but they are pretty happy with how they've got the kinematics of this bike to handle, and they're basing it on their new Bronson and new Hightower VPP setup. And if you look at the diagrams and the graphs, this is handling pretty close. So I think it's definitely not something to put you off in any way. It's definitely a die-hard Santa Cruz bike, but now it's got a Bosch motor and plenty to dive into with that. This is the new Gen 5 CX motor from Bosch, and it's had quite a few changes. I was really sort of impressed when I rode this on Monday. They've made a few tweaks here and there. So they made it a little bit lighter, 100 grams, which is not much, not really noticeable to ride, but you know, it's nice that they're sort of shaving a little bit of weight off there. But the main thing they're focused on is making the motor quieter. So that's not necessarily quiet when you're pedaling. It's basically making the internals of the motor much tighter, not rattly. So if you've had much experience on e-bikes, when you ride off-road on rough terrain, if you descend in, you'll notice you can probably hear a rattle like inside the motor, so the internals of the motor on real rough terrain sort of rattling amongst themselves, and also the battery. This new one has pretty much eliminated that. So it's a dead quiet motor. You almost don't even know you're riding an e-bike when you descend in. So that's what they've really focused on, and it makes a massive improvement. I was really impressed with that. The other things is the motor sensors, so how the power is delivered when you're pedaling. The Bosch system does have 4 different modes that you can go through, and 2 of the modes, Tour and EMTB, both work almost like automatic settings. They're basically gauging how much effort you as the rider is putting into the bike and deciding how much power to give you. You can really tell the difference with this new one, how they've sort of changed the tune to make it a lot more intuitive, a bit more natural feeling. So when you don't want the power, you're just pedaling gently. It's not, even if you're in one of the high settings, it's not giving you too much power when you don't necessarily want it, maybe on like a technical climb or something like that. But then when you stamp on the pedals and you want the power, really intuitive, delivers the power straight away. So just a really nice, impressive, intuitive motor that is really easy to jump on and just ride. We haven't actually touched on the new Bosch battery formats that they've done. So alongside the new motor, they've done some new battery sizes. So they've brought out the new 600 watt hour and the 800 watt hour. Santa Cruz have opted to go for the 600 with this bike, which I think is a sensible option because they've made it more of a rider's bike. They've focused it on more downhill performance. you want a lighter bike to make it a bit more playful. So putting the 600 in there, yes, it limits the range slightly, but it's going to make that bike lighter, more poppy, more fun to ride. So it's got the smaller 600 battery. If you did want to go further, there is a new range extender from Bosch, which is a 250. So you can bolt that onto this bike, onto the bottle cage, plug straight into here, and that's going to make it an 850. So that'll give you the range if you want that. But as a standalone bike, the smaller battery will definitely aid with better ride feel. So with this new system, Santa Cruz have also added in some adjustability into this suspension platform. So on the bottom of the shock here, you've got a high and low setting, and that changes the progression of the suspension. So if you were doing more fast trails, some hard hits, and you wanted the suspension to sort of ramp up as you went through it, you can put that in its high setting. Alternatively, if you want a bit more plush, pop it into the low. So that's a nice adjustment feature there. They've also got the two pivot point links on the back here, so you can reverse that. Again, high and low. So that changes how the bottom bracket sits. So you can make the bike sit a little bit lower. It's going to be better for descending. Or you put it into the high setting, it'll lift that bottom bracket up, steepen the head, the seat tube, and it'll be a slightly better for pedaling. So they've worked some nice engineering and adjustability into this new 4-bar design, and I think it looks really cool. So the bike comes in 5 build options. You get, so if you're familiar with how Santa Cruz do their carbon, they offer 2 carbon frames. They do carbon C and they do carbon CC. So in the carbon C frame, which we have here, you get 3 build options. You get the R kit, the S kit, and the GX axis in carbon C. And then when you jump up to carbon CC, you get the XO axis and XX axis. So on all the bikes, you get the same power units. You get the new Bosch. You get the same frame design, but basically it's the spec of the bike that changes. As you go up the range, you're going to get better components, you're going to get an upgrade in suspension, you're going to get better brakes, you'll probably get carbon wheels as you get higher up in the range, electric shifting, that kind of thing. The bike we have here is the R kit, so the base model, but still really well spec'd. You've got the Zeb Select Plus here, you've got aluminium reserves, and you get Fox rear shock with all the SRAM kit. So this is a really solid build. So this build is actually coming in at 21.5 kilograms. So for a full powered e-bike with a 600 battery with a new Bosch, the weights are coming down. So 21.5 is a good weight. But just to touch on this bike as well, if you just come in close, you can see on the top tube here, this is the current smart system controller, but there's a blanking plate, and I think that's going to hint to a new screen coming from Bosch that will be able to plug and play, and keep an eye out for that. So let's touch on a few more features from the new Vala. So the bike comes as standard with a mullet wheel. So that means the back wheel is a 27.5, the front's a 29er. That is getting very common on new bikes coming out now. And basically the front wheel having that big 29er profile, get a much smoother ride. The smaller back wheel gives you better cornering, makes the bike feel a bit more agile and playful. So you're basically getting the best of both worlds on the bike. I've ridden, my last 2 bikes now have been mullet, and I've converted to it. I think you can definitely notice that smaller back wheel, and it makes for a more fun ride. So really nice feature from them on this. So Vala is backed up with Santa Cruz's renowned aftercare. So they are really highly regarded for sort of the warranty that they provide with the bikes, the aftercare. They really look after you when you invest in the brand. So this carbon frame has got a lifetime warranty on it. Another really nice feature from Santa Cruz is lifetime warranty on the bearings. So bearings are a consumable item. If you're riding a lot, the bearings are going to wear out, especially in the UK where we have real muddy conditions in the winter. You're going to go through bearings quite often. Along with a lot of models from Santa Cruz, they come with their Reserve wheels. So Reserve has the same warranty, and it's also crash replacement warranty. So if you're riding hard, you crash, you pringle your wheel, admitted to Santa Cruz, you're going to get a new rim. No questions asked. So really nice backup from them. It's well worth investing in the brand just for that, I think, because you know you're going to get looked after, even if you're pushing on and you're riding hard. So standout feature. So there you have it. That's our breakdown of the all new Santa Cruz Vala. This bike is in store now, so come on down and check it out. But yeah, if you're in the market for an e-bike, specifically a full powered e-bike, this new tech on this is something to definitely come and check out. I think it's open to a lot of people. Yes, it's a focused bike that will take you down pretty much any trail, but it is very versatile. You could just go out for a nice leisurely ride on it as well. So open to a lot of people, but got a lot of capability if you want that from this bike. So we've got quite a few bikes on the way. They're in high demand already, so limited availability. We've got our first one in the shop with plenty more on the way before Christmas. So come on down, check it out, take it for a little test ride, and we can walk you through the full range of everything else that there is to choose from. So we'll see you soon. Thank you.